Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. My guests today are broadcasting all the way from England. They are known as Hench Herbivore. That's the name of the YouTube channel, but they also have names, Paul and Gemma, and they're going to be telling their amazing stories and doing a wonderful cooking demo or uncooking demo, as it will be. Please welcome them to the show. I've watched your channel. I enjoy it very much, and it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to meet you, Chef AJ. We're huge fans of your work. I mean, I've interviewed a few of the people you've spoken to with the success stories of health turnarounds, and I just think it's amazing that we can be happy and healthy, and that we can be in the gym and be big and strong and lean and lower our risk for all-cause mortality and heart disease. What a wonderful thing that we need to shout about, you know. So
that is
very
fantastic. And Gemma, we met. I mean, it was a long time ago, but we knew each other at True North. That's exciting. I can't believe it's so interesting to me that somebody from another country would go there. Like, how did you even find out about it?
So I have Hashimoto's disease, so thyroid disease, and I was sick for a very long time, and I tried a lot of things along my journey in order to get well. And one thing I did was to do a long water-only fast at True North, and basically I just ended up there because I tried everything. I tried loads of things, and I just stumbled upon the idea of that and was like, I'll give this a go, and I did get some benefit from doing it. But the thing just in general that I notice has helped me the most is just being whole food plant-based, eating as clean as possible, and some work on like mental health has helped a lot, I was really sick for so many years and had a lot of symptoms related to thyroid disease, so weight gain, brain fog, and maybe things that weren't necessarily related to that, sort of acne, depression, which could have been related to that, I don't know. Lots of different symptoms for a lot of years. I really struggled. I was suicidally depressed for a long time. I tried lots of different things over the years, and I kind of felt really just at a loss about what to do. And I'd be on the internet every day, like looking in forums and searching for different things. Oh, maybe I've got this or that, or all these things. And I was kind of like really desperate for answers, and for me, I've seen that's how some people get to being whole foods plant-based. Not everyone, some people it's ethics, obviously, but I've noticed a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to get well, I'll try anything. And oh, there's this idea of just eating plants. Well, what have I got to lose, kind of thing. And like that was me, so I like tried it and felt better so quickly,
Were you already plant-based when you had gone to True North for your water fast?
I was, but I had only been plant-based for a very short time when I went there. It was right at the beginning of my veganism. So I had got some benefits, but I was still pretty sick. So it took like quite a few years to gradually get better. I've noticed like some people go vegan and overnight they'll say everything changed. And it wasn't quite like that for me, but I noticed enough of a benefit each week, month, year that I was vegan that it inspired me to keep going. And then the longer I was vegan, the more just different symptoms would go or get a lot better. And now I'm just 10 years later, I'm so much healthier than I was all that time ago. So much.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because there are people that get immediate benefits. And I'm so glad that even though yours weren't as profound immediately, that you stuck with it. Because a lot of people would like, hey, it's same thing for weight loss. It's like, well, I didn't lose, 10 pounds overnight, so I'm going to go back to keto. I'm glad that you really stuck with it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely was a lot better than I had been. So it was like enough of a boost to keep me going. But yeah, I think that is important to say, because some people see other people online who get well instantly, and that can happen, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean it's not.
Sometimes the illnesses that people have are tricky, they're complex, when it's heart related, or there's certain things that whole foods plant-based does help immediately with, and you see immediate benefits to your numbers, your blood work, but sort of autoimmune and like thyroid and things, these can sometimes be quite tricky. And I think you had a few things going on, didn't you? So yeah. But certainly from my perspective, Gemma, night and day better going whole foods plant-based versus where she was. She was suicidally depressed. She didn't at times have the energy really to get out of bed.
Yes.
And overnight, I would say that she was massively improved, not completely better, but a whole different person. And it was beautiful, because it was hard to see her like that, it was really hard.
You know, I'd like to know a little bit about your water fasting experience, because it's so funny, because yesterday my dinner was delayed for 1 hour and I was so hungry. And I said to myself, how do people fast for even a day? You did it for over a month. Was it difficult? What was that experience like?
Like, again, like I was desperate to feel well, and I'd looked into water fasting quite a lot, and the sort of pain that it took to go through, I could stand, because I was so sick, and like, you know, the thought that it might bring some remedy, you know, to some of my health issues like that, I could keep going for the sake of that, you know. At first, like, I was hungry for the first like few days, and then I wasn't even hungry. And a lot of people say that when they're fasting, they're not hungry. And I felt a bit sick. It was weird. Things happened, like there was a few days where every time I drank water, it tasted like vodka.
Well, that might be a benefit for some people.
My good thing was, am I detoxing alcohol from my body? Like, you know, that I don't know if I was or not.
These toxins are stored in the fat, aren't they? And I wonder, like, as the fat's being released, these toxins are getting into the system. And
yeah, so I'd done a lot of drinking and drugs, recreational drugs, you know, and so I think I had a lot of things to detox. I was going for 35 days, but by 33, I was so done. I think mostly mentally, I just was fried, and I was crying. And the lovely Dr. Clapper, he came in my room and he was like, a round of applause, you've done so well, but I think it's time to stop now. He was so lovely. And I was like,
oh my God, that is amazing. Do you remember the first thing you had to break the fast, what it was?
Yeah, actually, I had some, you know, like when you steam some vegetables and the water that is underneath, I drank that, and it's not really food, but I drank that, and that was the best thing I'd ever tasted.
I know, I hear that from everyone. It's like, if for no other reason, once you refeed, it tastes like manna from heaven, steamed zucchini, people tell me.
Yeah.
It was cool. We call it courgette over here, but yeah, it was steamed zucchini.
Yeah, really soft, and like blueberries, and I had a soup, just blended zucchini and butternut squash, I think, those two, and it was the best.
Yeah, that's why, you know, they talk about taste neuroadaptation, and people, until they get off the drugs, and by drugs I mean, you know, sugar, oil, salt, animal products, processed food, that's exactly what they can experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So Paul, what's your story about becoming plant-based or vegan?
Well, I saw all the data that Gemma was digging up about how the more animal products we eat, the quicker we succumb to the diseases of affluence that kills maybe 75% of us. And being a bodybuilder, I was eating more animal products than anyone I've ever met. I was eating 500 grams of animal protein every single day. Like, I've not met anyone else who ate as much as that. I just figured, if some grows me muscle, obviously more is better. I was very uneducated on nutrition, and so I just took it to the extreme. And but I thought, wow, like I read the China study, which Gemma showed me, and there was that graph on there which shows you affluent countries one end, poor countries the other. The green lines were percentage of whole plant foods in the diet, and towards the poor countries was nearly completely whole plant foods, and then towards the more affluent countries was, I think, down to 6%, I think, in one. And then the red lines were the odds of death from heart disease and cancer, and it was that complete inverse relationship. And I thought, wow, I'm going to kill myself tomorrow, like I'm eating more than anyone. But of course, I didn't know at that time, 10 years ago, I wasn't aware of vegan strength and physique athletes. So that was very scary to me. I got all my self-esteem from being the biggest, scariest guy in the room. I was very kind of come from an insecure background. Like a lot of guys, I think we put on this big front, you know, because everyone's a bit scared already in life, I think, a lot of the time, especially as young men. And so I thought, I need to do it for my health, but am I going to be okay? But I just tried it. You know, I just replaced animal protein with plant-based. And not only did I do just as well for muscle building, but I had so many benefits. I had more energy, faster recovery, less pain in the body, recovery from exercise easier. Do you call it hay fever in America? Like
like it's like when you're like sometimes caused by allergies, runny nose, runny eyes, those kind of things.
I was allergic to all these kinds of pollen and things. That went away. Like every photo of me as a lad, I had a handkerchief in my face in the summer. I had a miserable time. It was almost incapacitating. It was like I had the flu and my eyes and nose were streaming. And my blood pressure was pre-hypertension, like nearly 140 systolic, down to something like 104. as a plant-based athlete. I'm not doing a lot of, you know, endurance training, just really doing my weight. So not much in the way of cardio. So I attribute all of that really to mostly to diet. What other benefits? Oh, my eyesight got more than twice as strong. So one day I noticed I was straining to see, and I thought, oh, my eyes have got worse. So I need to go and get stronger contact lenses. 2 times, AJ, I got prescribed weaker contact lenses. And my theory, I've not seen any data on this, but I've heard about it benefiting macular degeneration. And I wonder if we're reversing, you know, the benefits that we get to the coronary artery, where, you know, we get better blood flow in, we can reverse the, or at least the symptoms at the very least of heart disease. I wonder whether it opens up the blood vessels to the eyes, we get oxygen, we get nutrients to the eyes. That's my theory. I mean, I don't know. I'm no scientist. There's people a lot more clever than me. I'd like to hear. But that went into a newspaper, or the online newspaper, the Daily Mirror. And beneath the article were several vegans echoing my miraculous result, saying, me too, me too, me too. So yeah, anecdotes, but the plural of anecdote is data, you know, I think. So, you know.
That is absolutely incredible. How long ago was that?
So that was when I first went vegan. Within the first 6 months, I had really 6 months from when I started, and then a year from when I started. So twice at the start of my journey. No further benefit over time, sadly, but well, I can see a lot better than I could before I started. So I'm not going to complain.
Had either of you heard about a vegan or a plant-based diet before adopting one?
No. I feel like, you know, we would have just laughed at the idea.
As a bodybuilder, I would have really poo-pooed it. No one ever mentioned it to me. I wish we hear about these pushy vegans. I wish I met a pushy vegan and they pushed me into it, because it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. There should be more pushy vegans.
I mean, obviously you have muscles, and so they didn't go away when you adopted a plant-based diet, but there seems to be, you know, this prevalence in the fitness industry, especially in bodybuilding, that you need animal protein to not only build muscle, to sustain it. Have you been able to influence any of your peers in this world?
Oh, so one day in the gym, me and Gemma just finished a workout, and the reigning Mr. Universe at the time, 2014 Mr. Universe, this was in 2015, Mr. Barney Duplessis. And he had a market stall in Norwich, where we live, with bodybuilding stuff. And at the time, we had a business called Hungry Herbivores, where we made things like energy balls, stuff for the gym. And so we pitched him, would you like to sell these energy balls? And he asked us about veganism. And we had a really nice conversation, and we walked away, and I said to Gemma, like, that is really crazy, like this real top tier elite Mr. Universe bodybuilder, and he's interested in veganism. That is so open-minded. I'm so impressed. The next day I came in the gym, and he was sitting there, and he said, Paul, I've been thinking about what you tell me about veganism, and I won't say his exact words because there was an expletive in the middle, but he said, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't go vegan. So now I'm vegan, and do you want to be my training partner? And he was my training partner for the next 6 months. I would say that I probably turned maybe 5% of the gym vegan with my example. The next minute, 10% of the gym was vegan, because Mr. Universe also was vegan. And how are you going to argue with that?
You would think, though, with Game Changers, more of them would at least be veg curious, you know?
Oh, since Game Changers, at the time, I used to write a lot of nutrition and workout plans, like online for people. And suddenly I was so busy, and every other email I got was predicated with, I've just seen Game Changers, and, you know, please help me to be a vegan. There is a lot of interest now. It is huge. People are getting the message now. You know, there's so many strength, physique, you know, and other athletes, world-class, world record holding. I think it is out there, and it is becoming a lot more mainstream, and people are interested, because sportsmen, you know, we want an edge, and it is an edge, particularly in endurance. In terms of muscle building, from my understanding, I think there's no real benefit either way, omnivorous versus vegan, in terms of gaining strength and muscle. But the latest science, I think out of Sao Paulo University, they showed the best ever study of its kind, and they showed that vegans built at size and strength just as well as non-vegans. And the lead researcher went vegan off the back of it, because, well, why not? If you can benefit your longevity and your health span, and still be big and lean and powerful and functional. You know, why wouldn't you?
Absolutely. What is Hench Herbivore?
I got accused of being a hencher. Do you have the word hench? I don't think that's it.
I think I've heard the word henchman, like your henchman, like a...
Right. So it's a UK kind of slang, and it means like a big muscular, kind of a bodybuilder physique. To be hench.
I love it. And so tell us a little bit about the work you guys do, your YouTube channel.
Yeah. Do you want to spell? Feel like I've done a lot of talking. I don't want to monopolize it.
Well, when Paul was working with clients in the gym, like 10 or more, 6 years ago or something. Yeah, he was thinking, I wish I had this way to like show clients things, to do, like, workouts or how to eat and stuff. And so he created videos on YouTube just for his clients, really. And then we just started to have the idea of, we could share some things. And
yeah, it kind of organically grew. It was never my intention. I was very shy. I wasn't good at broadcasting things, and but that just blossomed out of control.
Yeah, we got really into it, didn't we? Like I was mostly filming at first, but now I've got a bit more like on camera as well sometimes. And yeah, so we started growing the channel, and then over time we just thought more and more about what kind of resources do people want when they're vegan, or maybe they want a cookbook. So we've written 3 cookbooks, and also it was like, what things can we do to support the work we do so that we can keep doing it and just focus on this, So we also coach clients again now with like their goals of like maybe muscle gain or fat loss. So we do them like, Paul will be their PT nutritionist and I'll write the meal plan, and we sort of work together, and we really enjoy that. We make it very bespoke, so it's going to work for the person with things that they enjoy, in terms of food and training, and we're very hands-on, so it's very in-depth training. We've written a nutrition course we
as well.
We do some activism sometimes, don't we? Just whatever we can sort of do, really. It's our life,
Yeah, we've managed to build a career now around it.
Is it virtual, like you work with people on Zoom?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, your books look great. Where do you get your protein? Virtuous vegan desserts. That one looks amazing. And speedy vegan. I mean, the recipe, I know you're going to make a recipe a little bit later in the show, but they look amazing. And, when I look at your website, Paul, I mean, obviously we could see your muscles now, but man, I mean, are those abs real or are those photoshopped? I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, no, they only look like that for about an hour. The thing with bodybuilding is, you build the muscle, you probably put a little stop on, then you diet down. And the dangerous thing is, and this is not a healthy endeavor, and I don't recommend it, but before a show or a photo shoot, you kind of dehydrate yourself, you manipulate different things in the body. And for like an hour, you look ultra crisp and like, you look ridiculous. You do look photoshopped. But then there's such a fleeting thing. I've actually got a photo of myself at my peak on my phone as my screensaver because I want to be able to remember, that was years of work and then weeks of dieting and misery and discomfort. And I think one day Gemma sort of looked at that and thought, you should have a photo of me, and was a little bit miffed maybe. But I'm like, this is the only time I'll probably ever look this good, and it lasted an hour, and I want to be able to remember it. So.
It's a phenomenal picture. I mean, I always wondered like how people can do that. How many hours? I mean, once you've achieved the level of muscularity that you have, does it take as long to maintain it?
No, you could probably be in the gym like an hour a week, in all honesty, if you really wanted to maintain. It's really the building up stage.
And the eating's often like
the thing with it all is people say, what's the secret of success? And we all know, you need to diet, you need to eat right, you need to train, you need to rest. But the secret sauce is it needs to become a major priority. You need to not go out partying all night. You need to not eat these donuts. You need to make sure you eat enough beans and whole grains and a couple of scoops of a protein powder to get adequate protein. You need to train when you're a little tired, and so few people are willing to. The word is sacrifice, and you need to kind of sacrifice all in order to, look back to that degree,
I'm so, when it comes to fitness, it seems like people come into different categories. There's people that really are into the bodybuilding. There's people that are like more into the endurance kind of thing, the runners. And then there's people that are more into the flexibility, like the yoga. And it seems like, do you do the other components of fitness as well?
I do a degree of cardio, particularly when I'm dieting. I do a little yoga pre-workout as a mobility drill. I used to be a martial artist and I was doing kind of almost the splits and all kinds of crazy kicks. But I really think now, my motivation now, and before it was from fear and I didn't want to get hurt, so I wanted to be able to protect myself. But now I want to be the best ambassador for the animals, because I saw, you know, I put more animals to death than most people ever will. And I feel so, you know, I was so shocked when I saw that they do, you know, run from violence, scream under the knife just like us. And I was mortified. And so now it's my life's mission to do everything I can to help people find veganism. And I hope that by the time I die, there's less suffering in the world because I lived rather than because I died. And I think the best use of me now is the better I can make my physique look. If I have a physique that people would aspire to, and hopefully they'll stop eating animals.
Right. I mean, and you've proven plants have protein.
Exactly. When people say, oh, we need meat for protein, I tell them, you know, to eat meat for protein, it's like eating mud, because I'm after the water. You know, when we eat animals, you're getting the trans fat, the sat fat, cholesterol, heme iron, heterocyclic amines, when you cook all these things that are killing us. No one's dying of deficiencies, everyone's dying of excess, and it's animal products and processed junk. And we deserve better, the animals deserve better, and the planet deserves better.
Well, I really appreciate the work you do as an ambassador, because like you said, people want to look like you. I mean, a lot of men, I mean, women also want to build muscle, and they have this belief that they can't do it. And a lot of people, even that are plant-based, think they can't do it without excessive protein and protein powders. Where do you stand on that part of the conversation?
I think for a larger bodybuilder, I try to be as whole foods as possible because I want to be healthy. But I think for a larger strength or physique athlete, 1 or 2 servings, like the judicious use of a little seitan or a protein powder, I think that will possibly be more optimal for some. But for some people who are, you know, more like weekend, you know, like armchair athletes, you know, who are not aspiring to be crazy, I think they probably can get away with a carefully planned whole foods diet, lots of legumes, whole grains, perhaps nutritional yeast, which is about 50% protein by weight. I think if you're really clever, you probably could do it. For me, I have to eat, you know, I need to eat about 5,000 calories. And to do that all from whole foods, and I would rather do it lower fat. But
oh my God, that's like, to me, that's like it just seems like so much food. I've got to hear what makes up these five. And that's a day you're talking, right?
Well, my maintenance is probably 4,600 calories.
Just to stay the same.
Oh my God. I mean, like how, I mean, because I think about like, because I eat a lot, I think I eat a lot of food, but so tell what are you eating to make up 4,600 calories?
Yeah, so it's a lot of legumes, maybe 3 cans worth of legumes per day, maybe 300 grams dry weight of grains, you know, whole grains. When I'm trying to put muscle on, you know, I do eat fruit, but I'll eat more tropical and dried fruits because they're more calorically dense. You know, apples and oranges, they kind of go out of the window. Conversely, when I'm dieting and I want to fill myself up, then they come back in. So whether I'm bulking or cutting, I'm eating whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. But the amount of fatty rich foods, the more calorically dense foods, you know, that's when I'm bulking. When I'm cutting, then we go for more calorically diluted. I still get to stuff myself. So when I'm dieting, I eat 3 massive mounds, like a pasta dish, piled up with food, and the weight just falls off. I never get hungry. And this, if I could just tell the world one thing, because so many people are trying to lose weight, like every other person and their dog is on a diet at any given time, and you can eat as much as you want. That's my one message to the world right now. You can eat as much as you want. Just eat the right things that not only, you know, support your fat loss goals, but they give you the most vitamins, minerals, polyphenols, antioxidants, fiber. They give you the longest, happiest, healthiest life as well, and we save the planet and the animals.
Yeah. What's incredible, it sounds to me like you really understand the principles of caloric density and you use them in your favor depending on what your goals are.
Like a cheat code to fat loss. And everyone should know this. It's criminal how easy the fat comes off.
I know. Oh, that's great. Well, what about you, Gemma? Like, what? I'm guessing you probably don't need 4,600 calories as a female.
No, I don't know. But yeah, I eat the same. Yeah, lots of whole plant foods, you know.
You probably eat a little more calories than some, don't you? And I think when you eat whole plant foods, I think I heard that it like speeds your metabolism.
Yeah.
You create the sort of good gut microbes that kind of help you to keep lean.
Yeah.
So you probably get to eat a little more than your average person, and without putting weight on, don't you?
Yeah. And I don't do crazy. I do some working out. I've started doing a little weight training recently, and I've always enjoyed cycling and walking. Yeah, I don't do quite as much as him. I've not been as consistent. I feel like now my health's getting to the point where I can be a lot more consistent with working out, which is really great.
You've been unable to, haven't you, historically? But now everything seems to be coming together nicely. So it's been a long road, but Yeah, it's nice to see you getting there.
That is fantastic. You know, I'm guilty of like this is the heaviest weight I lift. It's my water bottle. And I don't know why I can't be inspired when I do so many things right with the diet and the yoga and the spinning. But there's something I don't, Paul, I find lifting weights just so boring.
You know what, Chef AJ, don't do it. If you don't enjoy it, why torture yourself? There's plenty of things you can do for your health. And, you know, as long as you're working out, you know, you're giving your heart and lungs a workout, you're doing some kind of impact stuff, so you're strengthening your bones. You know,
thank you. Nobody's ever told me that, because it's like, it's hard to do something you don't love.
Yeah, so why do it? You know, there's ways around it. Find something you do love and do that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's like when people say, well, I hate kale. Well, you don't have to eat kale. Find a vegetable that you are willing to eat, you know?
And my argument with that is you've not tried Russian red kale, which is really more delicate and tender and less harsh on the palate, isn't it?
You know, I find that when people like Gemma had the experience of going to True North and neuroadapting, I find when people really hate the bitter cruciferous vegetables, because usually they have some kind of sugar addiction and they can't, that is usually what's going on.
You know, and it only takes, what is it, about 3 weeks to reset the taste buds, and then you can enjoy real food for how it tastes and get all these amazing health and energy benefits. Anyone can do something for 3 weeks if they really want it and put their mind to it.
I agree, because there's a holiday called Lent that I believe is like 40 days, and people have done difficult things in the name of their religion. So 3 weeks, they should be able to do it if they really are determined. What's the plant-based scene like in England, either with restaurants or doctors or education, lifestyle?
We've got a few leading lights who you've probably spoke to, I imagine. Dr. Gemma Nichols.
Yes, she's great. Can you actually see her as a doctor if you wanted to?
Yeah, she's a GP, and she also is like a lead partner in her clinic, I believe. And then there's Dr. Alan Desmond, Irish guy. He's out of Devon at the minute. He does a lot of gut health. I don't know if you spoke to him. I've seen him on the Exam Room podcast. Yeah, there's a few. And yeah, the scene is big. I think we're one of the most vegan countries, from my understanding. Our city, Norwich, is touted as the most vegan city. It has the most vegan restaurants per capita. We have a vegan shop and a big meetup group and couple of big festivals per year. We feel very, very lucky to be living where we do. But yeah, all over the UK is very big, is the vegan scene. Yeah. Most people eating junk foods, though, rather than whole foods, plant-based, I will say.
Right. Do you ever speak at any of the festivals?
Yeah, so we spoke at Vegan Life Live in Alexandra Palace in London a couple of weekends ago. And that was Gemma's first talk, which we did that together. And next weekend, we're at the Vegan Camp Out, which is the world's largest vegan festival. And we may be speaking in front of, I believe, up to 10,000 people at that.
Oh my God. And you said you used to be shy or have trouble speaking in front of people.
Yeah, I had a phobia of it. And I think because this is so important, it just becomes bigger than your ego. Okay, you could, you know, get all self-conscious and lose your words and be embarrassed, but animals are dying. And I used to, you know, add to that. And, you know, I've got a real chance. I feel like I have helped find a lot of people find veganism. And so I owe it to them, you know, and it just pushes you to get outside of your comfort zone. If I was selling like, fitted kitchens or something, I would never have got in front of people to try and, they wouldn't have dreamed of you know. But
I love that, because you got this big old muscly guy that just cares about animals. To me, that's like so, like, that's sexy and that's endearing. I'm surprised you've never been PETA's sexiest vegan yet. Maybe you're not over 50, that's why.
Yeah, maybe year after next.
Well, I mean, if there's a way to nominate, I think you guys would be definitely candidates, because I just love that, you know, I mean, you know, you have that compassion piece, because so many people do it for their health, which is a great listen, I don't care why people go vegan: health, environment, animals, but they never kind of get the compassion piece ever, really. You know?
Seen it, you know, if you're of a normal kind of mind, of course, some people are born a psychopath or a sociopath, and I believe the numbers are bigger than you'd like to sort of hope. So some people are never going to get it, and like, that's not their fault, that's how they were born. But I think most right-minded people, once we see that, you know, I was on the internet looking for recipes. Accidentally, I saw what happens to animals, and it crushed me. And, you know, I was a doorman, like a bouncer years ago. I was in a very violent world. Out of fear, I became quite a nasty person. I'll put my hand up and ashamedly admit to that. You know, I started to enjoy fighting. It almost became my adrenaline sport because I had so much fear of it before, and now I can protect myself. So given an excuse, I would take that excuse very embarrassingly. But then I just saw, you know, if I don't want to harm a chicken I've never met, like, why am I okay if someone's rude to me? Do I necessarily have to attack them or verbally or physically? Can I let that go, not pass that negativity on? And I would say, I mean, the word spiritual means different things to different people. But for me, I would say I've had a spiritual awakening where I've saw, wow, like, I shouldn't be hurting people. And if they're rude to me, they've had a hard day. Do I need to add to that? Can I forgive them? Then they don't pass it on to the next person. And I honestly feel if I can change, I think the whole world can change. And I think veganism, we need to change because we're going to end up killing ourselves the way we go. But if we all go vegan, I think we'll all stop.
Well, I think you are like a great spokesperson for this. Have you ever thought of writing a book? I mean, I know you guys have written recipe books, but just like about the type of things you're talking about now.
Yeah, the lady was helping me to write one, but she sort of went a bit off the boil. But I may speak to her again because he was doing it for free, so I may perhaps offer her some money to take that up again if she's still got all the interviews we did. Yeah, I might consider that. Yeah,
I think that's also a great story that needs to be told, and it would resonate with a lot of people.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember Earthing Ed years ago, Ed Winters said, and I think he was quoting Tolstoy, I might be wrong, and he said, while there are battlefields, while there are slaughterhouses, there'll always be battlefields. And I thought that sounds really nice, but I don't know if I believe it. But then, yeah, I found it myself, and yeah, I believe that is true. I really do. You find compassion, you know, for animals, and then it's just a logical progression. You just stop doing the wrong thing all the time. Like, you just logically have to.
Yeah, I think that's great. That is good. Gemma, do you prepare most of the meals in the household?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we've had different phases where at one point Paul did most of the cooking, but these days I do. Yeah.
What are your favorite types of dishes to make? And being in England, do you guys still have the ability to get things like Instant Pot and air fryer, right?
Yeah. Oh, we love our air fryer. We like kale chips.
Kale
when we first got the air fryer, we made kale chips every day for weeks. Yeah, I mean, so every day we mostly have something like a porridge or smoothie, or sometimes a savoury breakfast, but mostly like porridge or smoothie, and then lunch and dinner, all kinds of things. So like soups and stews, like curry, sushi, like Buddha bowls. Sometimes I might make the effort to make something a little more fancy, but a lot of the time it's really simple. Like so every one of the cookbooks we wrote was all to like answer a question, like, or solve a problem. So we did like, where'd you get your protein? Because that was the question we got asked the most.
That seems like the number one thing that people ask.
Yeah, and then the desserts one was like, how do you make, I know how to make like meals free from oil, salt, and like sugar, but how do you make desserts that don't have any sugar and like oil? So then I read that, and then the third book, Sweetie Vegan, was like, now everyone's saying they don't have time to make whole plant foods. And by that point, I'd written 2 books. I'd done a lot of cooking for the channel. I was getting a bit bored of cooking. I'd like done so much of it. So I was like, right, how can I...
Plus making our meals.
Yeah. How can I like answer this problem? How can I make meals like really quick? So that became my like focus for a long time. And now, I do so much batch cooking and like meals that are like kind of a one pot type of a deal, but like full of flavor and stuff. So we do like a lot of one pot. But a lot of batch cooking, and like, and then for Paul's, like, he just has a bit more protein, a bit more legumes in his, or some seitan with it, or sometimes he has a protein shake. Like, so we eat a lot of the similar things, but just like, and I eat obviously a lot less.
I would say most meals we try to get a legume, a whole grain, some fruit, some different vegetables, some nuts, some seeds, herbs, spices. We try to make use of that thing Dr. Greger talks about of food synchronicity, synergy, food synergy. How nutrients in one ingredient amplify health benefits, nutrients in others. So we try to just get all the different foods in there. Through the week, we try to really vary up everything so we're feeding the gut microbiome better. And we love it.
I love that you mentioned batch cooking, because I think that is such not a secret. Like, I think it's an essential really to anybody who eats food that's not fast food, regardless of their diet. And it's once you get in a groove. And I appreciate how you said eating simply. You know, I've interviewed over 1,000 people now, and I've never had one successful long-term vegan that said, you know, I make 30 different breakfasts a month, 30 different lunches and 30 different dinners. No, everyone, whether it's Dr. McDougall or whoever, you find a few of your favorites and repeat them. We have basically 5 entrees that we love. And one we love so much, we eat twice a week. We're talking about dinner. And we just keep recirculating it because, I mean, how many people eat 90 different meals a month, really?
Everyone does that. And once you've cooked a meal a few times, you get so fast at making it as well. You don't have to look at the ingredient, the method, and you just know the amounts and you throw it in there. And it's super quick.
Yeah. And so many people could, like, I look online for inspiration on a lot of blogs, and they're really great, but a lot of the recipes have so many steps. I saw a really funny meme online the other day on Facebook or somewhere, and it said something about, recipes that claim to be quick that start with chop an onion, like something like that, and like they were laughing, like, oh, you think that's quick, and that's so true. Like when we were doing the fast cookbook, like I even got into the mind of like, right, chopping takes a while, what can I do about this? Oh, let's get frozen pre-chopped vegetables and make that part of what people do. Like every step that could be quicker, we put into it, haven't we?
So quick to make some of those meals, and they last like 5 days, some of them.
Or you can freeze them. And no, most people don't have time to be in the kitchen for a long time.
Or the interest.
Absolutely. One of the things that's gotten pretty popular, well, I would say in the United States in general, but at least California specifically, where I live, is there's a lot of these food delivery companies that are not just vegan, but that are oil-free vegan, neither low or no sugar and salt. Does anything like that exist in your country?
I think there may be 1 or 2 now starting to sprout. I can't name names. There were certainly other ones which had the less healthy things, but I think there are 1 or 2 now starting to pop up.
That's nice. I'm admiring your tattoo work. Do they have any hidden meaning in there?
Oh, these ones?
Yeah.
It meant that I was insecure and wanted people to be scared of me years ago when I was a younger man, like an idiot.
We both got
we got a vegan tattoo each. We're more proud of that one.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, to me, you seem like a gentle giant now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, off to the side of Gemma, I see some ingredients. Does that mean we're going to make something today?
Yeah, I thought we'd make some high protein sushi from one of our cookbooks, Where to Get Your Protein. This is like one of those recipes where it was like, so like sushi, like how do we make this suitable for people who go to the gym, So we've just kind of, we tweaked it and figured a way to make, even this higher in protein.
Do you need a plate to put on?
No, I've got a couple of.
Yeah, you also.
I think I've got all the things I need.
I shouldn't have double guessed you. I'm sorry.
So, shall I go through the steps and everything?
I would love it.
Cool. Okay. Well, for sushi, I always sort of feel like if you want to make sushi, you have to start in the morning to have it in the afternoon. Because like you have to make the rice and you have to let it cool completely. Before you can put it together. So we use this brown sushi rice because it's much healthier than white rice. So yeah, this takes a long time. You have to like soak it for an hour and then cook it for 40 minutes and then cool it for a couple of hours. So we made some earlier, basically.
Here's one we made earlier.
Yeah. And we're going to put tofu in ours because, those protons.
Protein.
Yeah. So we're just going to make like a really simple dressing. You can put whatever you want on tofu. We like to bake it in the oven because it makes it go like a little bit crispy.
Are you going to show the tofu press?
Yeah, I was going to show it.
Have you got a tofu press, AJ, or do you use the book?
Paul, I'm so sorry to say that I was born allergic to soy, and so I can't eat tofu. It is so heartbreaking.
Oh, bless, yeah.
But you know what? They do make tofu out of hemp seeds and pumpkin seeds. It's called hempfu and pumpfu. So I could actually do that and get a tofu press. I know what you're talking about. It gets all the water out.
Yeah, they're very useful. I've seen I think it's a South African dish, and they made that with, we got that from Asda. What might have been chickpea tofu.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a sort of delicacy there with certain herbs and spices.
Should have thought this through a bit better.
Yeah.
So I like thought through every step, but there's always one thing you sort of forget, like the water of the. Yeah, so did you say if you don't have a tofu press, you can just put it under some
so you would just get like a clean tea towel, put the tofu on the tea towel, wrap the tea towel, and then put some heavy books on top. Probably 10 minutes just to get the water out so it absorbs the flavors better.
Yeah, so this is really handy though. You just sort of put this on.
This is a brand called Tofu.
And then you don't need two people to do it, I swear. You need to, or just like at a funny angle for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's nice and tight now.
So put that to one side for like 15, 20 minutes, something like that. And then for the marinade, like I'm just going to go in with a little bit of soy sauce. Go for like a low sodium one, because you know it's not.
Are there some alternatives, Chef AJ, to soy? Is there like liquid aminos and things? Are they lower in sodium?
How many milligrams of sodium are in liquid aminos?
Yeah, do you know?
Well, I think it depends on the brand. So I know that, like, you can, believe it or not, there's a brand that I've seen on Amazon that's only 25 milligrams per teaspoon. That's really, really low. I know that coconut aminos can be 90 milligrams per teaspoon, and some of the other brands could be like a couple of hundred. So they do vary, but I wish I could think of the name of this one brand because it's like so low, it's ridiculous.
I recently read the Dean and Aisha Sherzai's book, the 30-Day Alzheimer's Solution. And it was saying how they, from their research, they think that salt may be the #1 dietary risk factor for Alzheimer's disease, which is now the leading cause of death in the UK where we live. So I'm kind of keen to cut down as much as.
That's interesting. I don't add it, you know, once in a while it sneaks in like through a condiment, but for the most part, it's been many years since I don't even have it in my,
If I add a little, I'll do it like right on the top on serving, just to like a little bit.
That's the way to do it because that's where your taste buds actually taste it.
We've also recently added in a little potassium salt as well, which can kind of take the place a little and help to balance the potassium and sodium. So that's another thing. Right.
So just added a bit of lime in there. So I guess we won't wait for that. So basically you would, just take it out now. That'll be fine, won't it? Just for the purposes of showing.
Yeah. I'll still eat it.
Yeah. We don't have to worry about things getting eaten in this house, do we?
No.
So we just want to like chop this into some kind of batons. Would you say that would be the?
Is that the word? Well, short batons.
Yeah, so that can go inside the tofu.
Inside the sushi.
Inside the sushi. So we're making it into long strips.
Oh, they are quite
like
long. Right.
Yeah, you're just kind of like marinating it now.
Yeah, I'm just literally dipping it in, putting it on a baking tray with parchment paper. So that's like if you don't want oil, you know, you can just use parchment paper when you bake things, which is really just like the best thing. You can make chips, you can make.
We often bake fries this way with potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Yes. So yeah, we would just put the tofu on the parchment paper, and then just literally sprinkle on some sesame seeds, like on the top. And bake it in the oven. So 40 minutes, flipping halfway.
What is it centigrade?
220, 400 and about 40. Oh, we should have looked into Fahrenheit. Sorry about that. I forgot that you guys use Fahrenheit.
220 centigrade. I think it's 200 centigrade, 400 Fahrenheit.
I'm going to Google that. So tell me the centigrade and I'll tell you what it is Fahrenheit.
220.
220. Yeah, you guys have the metric system. You know, they said a long time ago, like 50 years ago, one day we would all be on the metric system. That never happened. 428 Fahrenheit. 220 centigrade is 428 Fahrenheit.
Awesome. So here's the finished tofu. Here's some I made earlier.
And sometimes we'll add. Will we add anything else to this occasionally, like fat tahini or something?
Yeah, you can put tahini on. I'm not putting tahini because we're having avocado inside.
Yeah,
you can put tahini, you can put sriracha, garlic, like anything you want on the tofu.
All the herbs and spices.
Got a little balsamic in there, vinegar
as well. Some people tell me that they don't like tofu, and I tell them you just don't know how to cook it, and it's all in the marinade.
Yeah.
I mean, tofu. It's weird because it's like saying I don't like water. Tofu literally has no taste on its own.
Yeah.
I've made this quite plain and simple just because of what's going in the sushi. And we just chop some things now.
Yeah.
So we're having some cucumber and some red pepper. It's nice to get some different like colours.
Yeah, that looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I'll literally again just do some like, I'm going to say the word batons again.
I think batons is good.
Yeah. About the same sort of width like as the tofu. And then same with the red pepper.
So you leave out the sort of fleshy part, don't you?
Yeah, I might leave that part out of the...
We'll eat that later.
Yeah. And like, then we're just about ready to put it together. It's so simple, really easy. You just have to have a bit of preparation for this video, like this sushi. You have to like make it in advance, you know. But
yeah, it's a little work, but it looks amazing and it tastes great.
Yeah. So you can put in there like spring onions, grated carrot, anything you like really. We haven't really done anything to the rice, but some people put all different kind of seasonings, you know, on there. A lot of them are quite salty, so we just leave it as it is. You know, we're happy with that. But probably some people who are real sushi experts might be like, "Oh, you're not putting all the seasonings.
What on earth are you doing?
What are you doing it wrong?" You know.
This is how we do it.
Yeah, this is how we do it. Don't judge us.
I think you guys are great. What a great team you are.
Thank you.
And some avocado. Oh, it's a good one. You always cross your fingers when you open an avocado, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you squeeze your avocado to see if it's ripe when you buy it?
Did a whole video on it.
Our latest video is how to tell if your avocado is ripe and how to ripen in the store.
We learned. Like,
so we learned to squeeze that way rather than with fingertips, which can bruise.
Yeah.
I think the easiest way is that you take the remnant of the stem out, and if that's green underneath, and it's a little springy, then you know you've got a good one. And if it's gone black, it's too late. Throw it in the bin. Or make guacamole with it.
Right, I think I'm ready to put it all together. I hope I haven't missed anything. Maybe I'll be cursing myself later when we watch it back. Oh no,
I think you did.
I forgot this, that, and the other.
So we've got our nori sheets.
Yeah, so you need this. This is really important. Someone put on there some nori, some nori sheets. People use a rolling mat to make sushi, but I don't really get on with it that great. I prefer to just use my hands because I feel like I can manipulate it better. So,
right. And it's easy to find those ingredients in England, right?
Yeah.
So easy.
Super easy.
Even supermarkets like have this now. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have kind of a Japanese section, right?
Hey, I'm just curious, because I love sweet potatoes more than anything. Do you only have the orange ones where you live, or do you have like the other ones, like the Japanese and the white, or what's it?
White often. Yeah, I have got a purple one before from the Norwich Provisions Market. Yeah, occasionally they'll have a purple sweet
Not often.
potato.
It has to be a certain.
It's
time of
rare,
year.
yeah. That's rare, sadly. I don't think I've eaten one actually, which is a crying out. I know the Okinawans, it's one of their staples, isn't it? And they were the longest lived people on record. So all those anthocyanins, I'd love to get some. Have you tried those?
I love them. I eat them every day, you know, and sweet potatoes and broccoli, not the orange ones, are my favorite meal. And that's why I don't like to post what I eat in a day, because I eat the same thing every day. And do you ever get like, well, what do you put on it? Like, it's like, well, nothing. I mean, when food is good, I mean, what am I supposed to put on? So, I mean, when you take a roasted sweet potato, and then especially if you air fry it, doesn't need anything.
This is the thing, isn't it? And people say that they don't like vegan food. And my argument is, well, why do you slather your steaks with sauces made from tomatoes and chilies? Why do you put herbs and spices on your chicken? You don't find me like rubbing meat all over my lovely vegetables.
Good point. Exactly.
Now, is this shiny side up or down?
Oh yeah, so yeah, you want to get a nori sheet shiny side down. I don't know why, but
yeah, I wonder what would happen if you did been a rebel and do it the other way.
You find out. No, that's
not on the show, but maybe another time. See, maybe it rolls better that way.
Yeah, I'm imagining that's the thing.
So before I handle the rice, I'm just going to wet my fingers a little bit, just because it makes it so it doesn't stick to your fingers like quite so much. So yeah, that's how I do it, and then just spread it basically all over the sheet.
No, you spread it right to the bottom, don't you?
Yeah, and you leave a gap along the top for
about an
folding.
inch.
Yeah,
an inch, is that? In American money, do we say an inch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This may take me a minute.
Yeah, takes a little while. You need to get this quite thin, or it won't roll very well. Particularly with the other things in the middle as well.
We're talking at that festival we mentioned, the camp out next week, and they've got about 60 food vendors, something like that. But our favourite one is a stall called Happy Maki, and they do sushi and they put avocado, tofu in it, etc.
Oh, sometimes sweet potato inside their rolls.
Yeah, and I think it might be the healthiest store there, would you say?
Well,
It's not one.
It's weight right, so but yeah,
that's true.
It's all right.
I think I was thinking about oil, salt.
Yeah.
Well, not salt, so much sugar for sure.
I like.
It's hard when you're eating out, but anyway, that's our favourite thing to get when we go there.
They just keep them in the long roll, so they're easy to eat on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to do your best when you're eating out, don't you? Like we spent a lot of years taking our own food, and we're not averse to doing that, taking tubs of food when we go places. But sometimes it's just not like possible.
So convenient.
Or convenient, yeah. So you know, if we have to eat out, we've just kind of learned, haven't we, the better choices to go for, and we sort of help our clients with that as well. We're doing a video at the moment that is about that, isn't it? We're going to some key supermarkets in the UK, and we're saying, right, if you have to eat out, what shall we pick that's quite healthy, you know? And we're picking a few options in each one, aren't we, of what we think is the better choices. And
some may have like a tiny bit of oil or something if you get like a packet rice. Obviously, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
One thing I never relent on is like coconut oil, palm oil, because of those long chain triglycerides, you know. But yeah, preferably no oil for me or my clients.
So yeah, just put in some of the fillings now, and then we roll it up. Yes.
Is YouTube the best way for people to interact with you?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I get a lot of DMs on Instagram, but you just physically can't read them all. So yeah, YouTube comment section. That's the best place. But yeah, we're on YouTube, Instagram, henchherbivore.com as well.
At the rolling stage, I'm gonna completely dry my hands, because if your hands are wet, the nori will stick to it and you won't be able to roll up very well.
And you need to wet the top as well, do you?
Oh yeah, thank you. So I need to wet the top a little bit so that it
I'll save you.
Yeah, thanks. So that we can seal it.
Now, are you putting any wasabi in there, or are you using that as a dip more?
Yeah, let's have it as a dip. Why don't you tell everyone what wasabi is?
Are you familiar? I guess you're familiar with wasabi, Chef AJ?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
So that's a Japanese kind of a horseradish type thing, isn't it? So it's a cruciferous vegetable, so it's good for the sulforaphane, which we know is so liver protective. This one you just reconstitute with water, so it's not
so strong,
not the best, right? And it will blow your socks off, so it's best to just have a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm rolling up the sushi now. So literally, you just fold the bottom up, tuck it in as you go, and roll it around.
Oh, you're doing that a treat.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous at this point because you can just split it by accident. You know, sometimes it takes a few goes to like get really sort of more skilled at it. Not that I'm necessarily skilled, but like it doesn't matter because it all just goes in your mouth. So if it doesn't look as pretty as you hope, like it's not the end of the world kind of thing. But I think I did it.
Embarrassing me, I've done that stupid. I put that in there now. Sorry. Let's start again.
So
this is why you're the cook.
So you can like eat this like this, but we like to slice it into thin little bite-sized pieces and then dip it in maybe some wasabi or some tamari or soy sauce perhaps. So I like to use a serrated knife, and again dip it in water because it just helps a little bit so that the knife doesn't kind of tear it kind of as you're chopping. And so let's do some really skinny little hopefully bite-sized pieces.
I think the Japanese like them, so they're one mouthful, don't they?
Yeah, and then so sort of here we go. Really, this is the finished product, and yeah, you can put some sesame seeds on there. I really like it with some pickled ginger. Personally, I like to put it inside, but apparently you always say that's meant to be a palate cleanser in between.
So I'm no expert in it.
Yeah.
And when you buy sushi, there always has the little green thing of wasabi and then the little piece of. I have a friend named Tim that didn't know what that was, the wasabi, and he put the whole thing in his mouth.
No. Oh, I bet
he literally turned red. He didn't.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so you can make this without tofu. You know, if you're not looking to have. These are all different sizes. I swear I normally do it a bit better than this. Yeah. Yeah, I can do all fancy things with sushi, can't you? You can like roll it backwards so that the rice is on the outside. You can put like
is that called a California roll or something when you do that?
Yeah. Some people put like avocado in, not avocado. What's that called? Mango in there for like a sweet one. Like yeah, you can do loads of different things.
Now, the good thing, Chef AJ, is that you get these little remnants off the end that, you know, you can't serve them, so they need eating. Can you pass me the soya?
You eat it straight away.
So that definitely needs to go, because that wouldn't look so attractive on the plate.
That's hilarious.
There we have it. Yeah.
Chef's privilege.
The finished products.
That's so nice. And I love things that you can just put in your mouth and not have to use a fork for.
Cheers.
Yes. Do you ever make sushi, Jane?
You know, I learned it in culinary school, and I guess I'm so lazy, you know, but I like doing sushi bowls, you know, basically everything that you have of eating it in a bowl.
Yeah.
If I was cooking for myself, I would probably just make the bowl. I think this is nice if you've got guests and you want to kind of wow them a little bit. They look nice on the plate and they arrange.
Exactly. Well, you guys are really something. I'm so appreciative of the work you do and the reason you do it. And I'm just happy for your success, in especially Gemma, in, you know, overcoming your health issues, basically.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're very kind. And we love and appreciate everything you do. So we're very happy.
I just wish you guys lived closer. We can hang out. I bet if we went to the gym together, you could probably get me inspired enough to do something.
There's been no one who's come to train at the gym with me. The thing is getting them across the threshold. They need to be brave enough to step across that threshold, and that's where people fail. And I would say to people, once you're in the gym, you will, or make sure you have a good time, and not once has anyone said, no, that was horrible. So
having a coach or a training partner, that can really be
that's important helpful for some people. But we will come to the States at some point. So maybe we'll look you up if we
yeah, that would be amazing. Well, I'm in California, Northern California. Now there's a large vegan community up here. That's why I moved here specifically, because there just wasn't one in the desert. Nobody cared down there. So that is great. So hopefully people will subscribe to your YouTube channel and check out your wonderful books. All the information is right below this video in the show notes. And thank you guys so much. It was such a wonderful hour spending with you.
It's a real pleasure to finally connect with you after watching.
Thank you so much. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow for another fabulous show.